It's Super Bowl or bust for LA Rams. This is the year that they need to win the Super Bowl, because when you look at their future for 27, there is so many pending free agents that are going to be expensive as hell. And you cannot guarantee Matthew Stafford's health. You cannot guarantee him wanting to come back. So yeah, this is the year for the Rams. And let's be honest, they are freaking loaded. So even though you kind of see some bigger needs on this quick war room / draft preview, it's more in the mind of a guy that's thinking about the Super Bowl and Super Bowl only. Not necessarily like, if we would say like this is not the Super Bowl team right now, the needs would probably tend to get a little bit lower, because this team is freaking loaded, man. It's freaking loaded. It's disgusting. It's disgusting how loaded they are. And when I said that the Broncos are the best team when you take quarterback aside, I'm not so sure. Like maybe it's the Rams. It's very, very freaking close. And it's just so exciting to have Rams in our division, because it's going to be, again, so much freaking fun playing them. These games should be bangers. Like, yeah, would I prefer, easier division? Yes. But at the same time, man, like, don't tell me you have not freaking loved all 3 games. I mean, if you are a Rams fan, you probably don't like the ones you lose. But if you are a neutral fan, like, what more do you want? Now, if you are new to here, this is just quick thoughts. If you want to just leave it here, you have seen my thoughts. Thank you very much for stopping by. If you want to dig deeper, support the channel in the process, let's dig in, comment, subscribe, leave a like, and give me next 15 minutes of your life, because we are talking Rams. Starting at the quarterback. Interesting situation with Matthew Stafford. Obviously, the thinking would be, we need to start thinking about succession, right? I'm not of this opinion, and here is why. It's Super Bowl or bust for them. That to me is what the Rams are telling us, how they approached free agency, how they traded for Trent McDuffie. It's this year. Like, they are not going to spend premium on bringing succession plan to Matthew Stafford. It's just not going to happen. I would be shocked. I would be really shocked if that happens. So that puts us in tier 3. I think they will get a veteran backup QB, probably Jimmy Garoppolo back here to back up Matthew Stafford, because I don't think they necessarily want to go into the year with just Stetson Bennett. But I just don't see them doing this, especially when next year draft classes should be much better. So, and like with so many potential free agents next season, or like pending free agents, is there a chance for like tag some of them, add first round pick, and just trade up for your guy next season, seeing where Matthew Stafford is going to be? Like, this is not going to happen. They are not going to plan for succession in this season. Hell freaking no. I would be absolutely stunned. So tier 3 need. 5th running back. It feels like they have found exactly what they wanted from Blake Corum. He is 80% of Kyren Williams. Kyren Williams responded to him being drafted as best as he could, because he evened up the tempo. He is very close to being a top 10 running back. He's probably on the edge. And just like the exceptional thing for them is like these 2 guys are interchangeable in terms of a style, in terms of how they run. Blake Corum just gives you less, but they are fit for the system and clearly what they wanted. So I just feel like they are set here as well. Now, with wide receivers, you might be like, man, they have Puka and Devontae. Like, what the hell are you talking about tier 1 need? Well, here are my thoughts. Puka is knucklehead, to say at least. Like, I would not be shocked if some of his antics off the field will earn himself a ban for a couple of games. Devontae Adams was reportedly like being kind of shopped around, which like felt very weird for a Super Bowl bust year, but most likely this is his last year as a Ram. And right now, it does not feel like they have wide receiver 3, like Jordan Whittington, Konata Manfield. Like, these are your wide receiver 4 and 5s. There is no wide receiver 3. And for a team that has such a prolific passer like Matthew Stafford, this clearly to me is a tier 1 need to have the wide receiver 3, as well as a succession plan. And unlike with quarterback, you are getting great use of that wide receiver 3 right now. So I do think this is a tier 1 need. As thinking as a Rams GM, like, if we seen this in another room, if another conditions, it might have been high tier 3. Everything that I'm trying to give you here is how I think, from the perspective of the team, certain rooms look like for now and for the future. This is like, if you feel like there's inconsistency, like there probably is, I'm trying to do my best, but I'm just a human. But this is how I'm creating this process, like looking at this as I was wearing a hat of a GM from that team. Fifth tight ends, the room is very similar to what I was describing, or will be describing, sorry. You will get a Seahawks episode tomorrow or today, like whatever. The room is just set. They have made their high investment last year in Terrence Ferguson, have veteran in Tyler Higbee, and they're one, I would say right now, in Colby Parkinson. There is one area of thought that with them, like using 12 personnel reasonably often, perhaps that wide receiver 3 is not of a dire need. And I would tend to agree with that, if there was not another caveat on top with like Devontae Adams potentially like being unhappy, traded around, shopped around, and succession plan. So that's why I like still adamant on wide receiver being a tier 1 need. Swinging towards their offensive line. Tackles. Very interesting conversation, because they have, I cannot say stumbled upon, because it happened for both of their tackles. Like they are 7th and Alaric Jackson. Where have you been drafted? Oh, he's an undrafted Alaric Jackson, and 5th round Warren McClendon are their starting tackles. And the crazy thing is, they are a good tackle duo. Like it's not special tackle duo, but it's absolutely freaking workable, and crazy job in terms of development for these guys, or crazy job of scouting department to finding them. I would still call this a tier 2 need, because A, you can probably upgrade on Warren McClendon, and B, I'm not sure the depth is what you would call acceptable. Like David Kessenberry, alright, but not so much. So tier 2 need for me. Moving into interior, to me, one of the bigger question for how to approach this is how big they view Bollimer, because I still would not like give up on him. I felt like really good about him in terms of draft prospect. And if you feel good about that, you're like, all right, so we have Steve Avila, Coleman Shelton, and Kevin Dotson as our starters. Behind them, Bollimer. This looks fine, right? At the same time, Steve Avila's contract is up for next season. So, another potential very highly paid free agent. Coleman Shelton is kind of a veteran / bandage. And the depth, especially for the guard, it's Justin Dedich. I would say this is a tier 2 need for me as well. Mostly because A, you are creating succession plan, potential for maybe get cheaper. And B, right now, the depth is not necessarily there. So tier 2 need, probably higher one. Shifting towards their defense. An edge is naughty. It's naughty. It's Jared Verse. He is freaking awesome. Can he move towards my elite category this season? Hell yes. I hope he won't, because it probably is going to be on expense of Sam Darnold Sykes, but he's probably going to get there. Behind him, Byron Young, freaking awesome. You also have Josiah Stewart, like 3-player structure that is absolutely freaking nice. And you have a ton of recent investment. Like, can this room succumb another body? Could you take a look at someone? Yes. Do you necessarily have to? No. And it's kind of the same with their interior. There you might be planning a little bit for the future as well, but as of right now, their starting trio of like Puna, Braden Fisk, and Kobe Turner, that's a real top group, man. I hate that they were able to snatch Puna for such a freaking great deal. So, hell of a good group. Now, again, very similar to how I view their edge rotation. 4th body absolutely would not be a waste of a draft pick. Is it like necessary to make it higher than the tier 3 need? Not in my books, because you can approach this with both mentalities, like, all right, let's bring in another body, let's keep the pipeline going, or we are set here, we have a top end talent, we have reasonable depth, and that's just absolutely fine. And perhaps they could look at some veterans still out there to add into this room, like Jadavion Clowney is not signed, or let me give you another, still unsigned. Who could they bring? So Jadavion Clowney definitely comes to mind. Hassan Reddick, potentially. And Joey Bosa is still out there? Man, Joey Bosa would be... Damn, Joey Bosa would be special for them, wouldn't he? Like, he was really damn good for the Bills. Chasing ring, going against his brother in division, really giving them the... Oh my god, Joey Bosa would be naughty. Oh, I hope that doesn't happen. Who else? Autry. Okay, that's probably it. From like guys that could make an influence. I mean, Cam Jordan, like Von Miller, perhaps like really bringing, the veterans here to just like, okay, you want to chase a ring, play 300, 400 snaps, and we will use you for the most meaningful ones. Hell yeah. So I think they would rather approach it this way to a degree, because it's such a big year for them. And there is a lot of bodies to, with the vision of that Super Bowl ring being chased, that could be swayed to bring here. Linebacker for the Rams is led by Nate Ledman, who is just a very, very adequate linebacker one. Is he special? No, he's not. But for how much you have not invested in this room, having him, Omar Spades, who's like undrafted guy, and Sean Dolac, who's also undrafted, like 7th round, like they have been able to get away, not spending any draft capital on this freaking position, yet turning up a room that is not just acceptable, it's actually fine. And that's like another big credit. Like, if you can like fill your linebacker and offensive tackle room, which like offensive tackle is much more valuable, but at the same time, like they have filled those two rooms without any freaking investment in terms of, high draft capital. Like any incredible job by this Rams front office. And that's what allowed them to do this. Bring these two monsters to their secondary, because if there was one clear weakness last year, everybody talked about their cornerback room, how JSN, kind of got away with a lot of things against them, and there was other wide receivers as well. Yeah, they just did not take like a pistol approach. They took a bazooka, because they have brought one of the best corners in the game in Trent McDuffie, add Jalen Watson into the mix, who is like very good CB2, and just like, all right, we had a problem. Here's how we are going to fix this. The crazy thing is, I would still say like they need one more body into this corner room, because let's be honest, right now as your backup outside corner, you have Emmanuel Forbes. I would say you also want to use Trent McDuffie in a slot, though like he's been moving towards being just an outside or primary outside corner for the last 2 seasons. So, it's not as big of a need, but like, man, the backups are not there. So, it could be done with the veterans as well. But I feel like, with corners, it's kind of the room that more bodies are kind of necessary with how many injuries you usually tend to have. So low tier to need for my eyes, even though you have made such a massive investment. With their safeties, I think they're absolutely fine there. The big question is, like, if you are using Quentin Lake as the primary nickel corner, then you are lacking depth, because Cam Kitchens and Cam Curl as your starting duo, very nice. Like, it's absolutely fine. You have your safety one in Cameron Curl. And I'm like referring safety one, which is like weird, because free safety and strong safety are playing kind of 2 different roles, but there is a lot of rotation, right? But like safety one, I mean the better one, and like leader of the room, Cam Curl, yeah, that absolutely works. And Cam Kitchens, there's still a lot of potential. So probably like high tier 3 if you consider Quentin like more of a prime nickel corner for this team. Overall, I would say the secondary will require like tier 2 addition, or at least 2 more bodies, because the depth is just not there. And you can shift it around. You have a flexibility with Lake and with Trent McDuffie, but that does not mean you can shift around like not having bodies. That's just not going to happen. That's impossible, kind of. So this to me are your LA Rams. They are not good. They are in great position. At the same time, there's a ton of pressure on them because they definitely feel like last year, the Super Bowl was there to be won. If they have beaten the Seahawks, they could not. And this is the year where like they have made a lot of things say like, all right, we have to win right now. And it's going to be hard, man, because like just winning this division is going to be tough. Thank you very much for listening, and see you with the next one.